Welcome everybody, this is ROBO-D here, and today I got a video going over the recent news of Daredevil. He finally got revealed in today's article from Fantasy Flight Games, coming to Marvel Champions Fear No Evil expansion. And I'm very excited to show him off to you today and basically just kind of recap everything we've seen in the preview article. Now I do have to keep it real with you. We haven't seen everything for him. Just what you see on the screen right now is everything we've seen, and I'll kind of break down to you everything we got going on here. Kind of get you an idea of how Daredevil will play when he comes to the expansion. At this point, we just saw a preview of him. We don't know if we're going to get any more information or any other cards that are going to come in his set. We do know that his hero pack that's coming in the expansion is a Justice deck. So I kind of expect some of these cards here at the bottom that I'll go over with you to be in that pack. So that being said, let's take a look at Matt Murdock, or Daredevil. And just so you're aware, I do this kind of content through Tabletop Simulator. If you hop on Tabletop Simulator and go to Hitch's Table, you will not see this stuff in the game currently. It is still in preview. I imported these scans thanks to Fantasy Flight Games for the beautiful artwork and card art scans on their website and in their article. If you'd like to see those and read the article firsthand, you may do so. I'll link it in the description box. But without further ado, let's get into it. Let's see here. Matt Murdock here. He is a pretty standard hero stat-wise. He comes in with 3 recovery. He's got 10 hit points and a hand size of 6 in his alter ego. And then if you flip over to his other side, his Daredevil side, his hero form, he's got 2s all across the board and a hand size of 5. This is really standard stuff here. Not super crazy on any regards. Just overall really solid. And I think this is pretty nice for him. I like having all 2s across the board. It outside of your hero ability, it kind of lets you fit into basically any role you want to play with relative ease. But let's go back over here to the alter ego. And there's not really anything of note here as far as like an alter ego action or anything like that. You have your forced response, which is the same, or excuse me, forced interrupt, which is the same as it is on the Daredevil side. But Matt Murdock is a little bit of a special case character. If you're used to playing Doctor Strange or Storm, this will seem very familiar to you. He comes in with what is called a Sense deck, which, like Doctor Strange, they're cards that you can play as if they were in your hand. And we'll go over that in just a moment. But it comes into play, and you're able to look through it at any time. You shuffle it up at the beginning, but you can look through it at any time without having to reshuffle it. That is stated directly on Fantasy Flight Games article. So if you're wondering where I get that rules reference from, that's where it's from. And I'm sure here it's going to be in the actual rule book of the expansion when it comes out. It says see rule book on page 26. That's probably going to detail pretty much everything I'm saying here. But anyways, there's nothing really of note here. Besides this attorney tag, which I think is very interesting, because some of Matt's cards does play into the attorney tag, and I think there are a couple other attorneys in the game. I think She-Hulk is one too, if I'm not mistaken. I think she has the same tag, and she might be able to take advantage of playing with a Daredevil, as some of them specifically say attorney on them. But let's flip over to the Daredevil side, because I think that's where the more interesting stuff is. I don't really think you're going to flip over to alter ego that much, except to activate some of his alter ego and attorney based cards. But anyways, Daredevil in his hero form, he's got the defender and martial artist tag, which the martial artist is a new one, and it's coming in on a lot of the cards in Fear No Evil. Echo's got it. The Daredevil ally in her pack's got it. This Electra card in Daredevil's pack's got it. So I think it's going to be one that's going to have a bunch of support going forward. There is, in fact, a card we'll go over in a minute, Know Your Enemy, that does interact with this tag. So I think that's pretty cool. Defender we've had for a while, but I don't think it has any sort of interactions that I'm aware of. Not any notable ones, I should say. But moving forward, his hero ability is Superhuman Senses. Action, play the top card of your sense deck as if it were in your hand, paying its cost. And then forced interrupt when a sense upgrade would leave play, place it on the bottom of the sense deck instead. So there's a couple of key notes here that we need to take into account. Unlike Doctor Strange, you know, he's got his invocation deck that works very, very similar to this. Daredevil Sense deck, you can play cards from it multiple times a turn. There is no limit to how many times you can play the cards from his Sense deck. As long as you can pay for them, you can play them. And this is also stated in the article itself. They even make a note here. One of the paragraphs, it literally starts out with, one handy thing about Daredevil's superhuman sensibility is that there is no limit to how many times you can use it in a round. So long as you're able to pay the resource cost, you could get 2, 3, or even all 5 sense upgrades into play at the same time. So I think they really want you to try to play as many of them as you can. And I feel like that's how Daredevil's going to be moving. He really wants to play these upgrades. They're pretty decent effects. I don't think they're as strong as the invocations in Doctor Strange's deck, but they are still pretty good, I think. And all of them are one-cost upgrades. And they are actually right over here. So let's take a look at each and every one of them. So this first one here is a acute tactility. It's an interrupt. When you defeat an attached enemy or remove the last threat from the attached scheme, discard this card, ready your identity. This one's really good right here. And I think this is really nice if you know like what sort of scenario you're going into. If there's going to be a lot of minions, you put it on a minion, or if there's going to be a lot of side schemes, or you know, just put it on the main scheme early on. You can get a bunch of readies with this card, and I think that's really nice. Definitely one of the I think situationally this is one of his better cards. And I think also that's something that you're going to see with these cards is that I think they're, for the most part, it's situational which ones are going to be the best ones to be playing at the time. And just because it's on the top of your deck doesn't mean you don't know what's coming next. They even say here that you can look through it at any time. And also, we'll go into some of his upgrades here, but there's one here in particular that lets you just play whichever one you want. So let's go on to the next one. We have enhanced olfaction. I hope I'm saying that right. But anyways, attached to an enemy or scheme, same as the other one here. When you defeat the attached enemy or remove the last threat from the attached scheme, discard this card. Reduce the cost of the next card you play this phase by 2. I think this is really good too. I think it's really nice if you could play both of these back to back, you know, on the same thing, and then, you know, you get a ready and you can play your next card. Hopefully, probably for free or like really, really cheap. I think this is really nice. So next here we have heightened hearing. This one you can only attach to an enemy, but it says it's a hero interrupt. It's a defense event. When attached enemy attacks, discard this card. This enemy gets -3 attack for that attack. You become the target of that attack. So this is an upgrade that basically declares you the defender of attack without having you exhaust, and that enemy gets a -3 to the attack, which in a lot of cases could reduce the enemy to 0 and you take no damage. I think that's pretty nice, and this one will probably come out quite a bit just because it applies to basically every situation. Sorry, I had to take a drink of water. But moving on, we got radar sense. Attached to an enemy, response and attack. After you attack attached enemy, discard this card, deal 3 damage to that enemy. Pretty solid damage for a 1 card upgrade. Basically, you'll be swinging for not 2 but 5. So I think that's pretty nice just for a 1 cost upgrade that you could put on any enemy. And you can see here that all these kind of could really combo with each other, you know, and you can get a lot going if you know what you kind of plan it ahead. And then finally we have superior taste here, attached to a scheme. After you thwart the attached scheme, discard this card, remove 2 threat from that scheme. I think this is pretty decent as well. I think they're all pretty good in their own right. Again, these are all 1 cost upgrade cards that you can play at any time, provided that you have the resources to pay for them. And like they said on Fantasy Flight Games, you can play all these in 1 turn if you wanted to. And I feel like late game Daredevil, that's probably going to be doing that. He's probably just going to be cycling these sense upgrades over and over and over again, which is nice. So that is a sense deck. Like I said, you basically start the game off with this out on the field, and you just can cycle through it whenever you want and play the cards as long as you can pay for them. Next, we have Elektra. Excuse me, let me introduce this section right here. This is going to be his identity cards that we seen in the article. Do take a note, every hero has 15 cards, but we did not see all of them. We only saw a good handful of them, and it's what you see here. So I'll go ahead and go over them. First, he has a signature ally with Elektra. 3 cost, 3 health with 1 thwart to attack. Pretty good, I think. She has a force interrupt when Elektra would take consequential damage. Daredevil takes that damage instead. I think that's pretty nice as far as, like, she can stay out on the field for a pretty long time. But every time you activate her, she's going to be dealing damage to yourself. So I think it's not exactly the best ally. I don't think it's really the best ally, to be real with you. She's not like, she's got pretty good stats, I suppose, but dealing damage to yourself when your ally would attack or thwart or whatever is not the greatest thing. And this is a forced response, by the way, or a forced interrupt. You have to do this. You can't just choose not to do it. So the only way to prevent yourself from taking the damage is if you were in alter ego. So that is her. Then we have a attack event here with cross-examination. 1 cost event. It is a attack. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. For each upgrade attached to that enemy, you may deal an additional 1 damage to it. I think that's pretty nice because none of these say max 1 attachment per enemy. You can stack all of these on the same thing if you want to. So you could potentially do 1, 2, 3, 4 damage to 1 enemy just off of this. So 3 plus 4, that's pretty good damage for a 1 cost event. And then you also get all these other effects too on top of that. You know, if you had all of them attached to the same enemy, he could be swinging for a lot with just this 1 event. So I don't know how many copies of each of these things he's gonna have. Like I said, we haven't seen all the cards. He could have multiple copies of this event here. We don't know. This is a pretty good one. So if he had multiple copies of it, that'd be pretty cool. And then we have Deposition. This is an alter ego thwart event. You may choose any upgrade from the sense deck and play it, ignoring its resource cost. Do not shuffle. Then you can remove 2 threat from a scheme. This would probably be nice to have if you had to flip down, because Matt doesn't really have anything in his alter ego state. But like I said, you basically ignoring the fact that you have to play these from the top going down. So that's pretty nice. Situationally, probably pretty good. And it also gives you a little bit of thwart removal as well, which is kind of nice. You could combo this with this right here and deal, 4 thwart instead. Because that part will happen after, you use this card and attach it. Next, we have a Living Lie Detector. This is an action, meaning you could play this in Alter Ego or Hero form. And basically, it's like the cross-examination, but it's for thwarting. You remove 2 threat from a scheme. For each upgrade attached to that scheme, you may remove an additional threat from it. Again, pretty good thwart removal, I suppose, for one cost event. You could potentially get this up to, 2 plus 4. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that could be. You could potentially get 6 thwart off of a 1 cost event for this. So that's not bad at all. Not bad. And then we have a side scheme. So it's focus the senses. This threat cannot be removed from the scheme except by Daredevil or Matt Murdock. When defeated, you may move any number of sense upgrades in play to other cards they can attach to. Choose any number of upgrades from the sense deck and put them into play. Do not shuffle. So basically, this lets you just go ham with all your sense upgrades. It is a 0 cost side scheme, and it takes 4 to thwart it. Not bad at all. Really not bad at all. I think this is pretty nice just to get all your schemes out, and then, excuse me, not your schemes, all your sense upgrades out at one time, and then do a really big play off of it. It's really nice side scheme. It is kind of a little sucky that nobody can help you out with it, but other than that, it's a pretty good card. Then we have Foggy Nelson. He is a alter ego support. Exhaust Foggy Nelson, remove 2 threat from a scheme. I think the neat thing about this right here is it kind of combos with this next one we're going to talk about, Nelson and Murdoch. After an attorney character or support defeats a side scheme, confuse an enemy. These two were made together right here, and it really helps you if you need to flip down to alter ego to give you a little bit of breathing room from the villain scheming. So you're going to be removing threat and confusing the villain, meaning they're not going to be able to do a whole lot. You do have to defeat a side scheme though, but that's not bad at all. Really not bad at all. You could potentially like go into alter ego, use Living Lie Detector to thwart, focus the senses and defeat it, and then proc this right here, since you're gonna be an alter ego and you're an attorney, and then if you need to get more threat out, you can use the Foggy Nelson. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I think it's pretty nice. There's a lot of alter ego cards I don't really like because the hero either doesn't have anything good going on in alter ego or just doesn't play nice with the rest of what they're trying to do. And I think this plays nice with what he's trying to do. Maybe not the cream of the crop here as far as cards are concerned, but he's got options for if he needs to go down into alter ego. And then finally, this upgrade right here is really nice. The Man Without Fear. This is a title upgrade card that is a 2-cost upgrade. You can exhaust this card and deal 1 damage to Daredevil, and then you can choose to do one of these effects. Choose any upgrade from the Sense deck and play it, and ignore its resource cost. Do not shuffle it to the deck, or you can just ready Daredevil. This is pretty damn good. Gives you lots of activations per turn, or gives you a lot of sense upgrades out on the field. at one time for no cost other than 1 damage. There is a little bit of a concern that Daredevil is not the most tanky character ever, but I think this is an awesome upgrade here, and definitely one you'll probably want to get out as soon as you possibly can, because the effects here are just awesome. Both effects are really, really good, and just depending on what you need, they're both good. And then that's all for the identity cards that we know of. There are still a few that are missing that we don't know of. There might be more copies of some of these cards. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking there probably might be a few copies of Cross-Examination and Living Lie Detector. They might say it on the article if there are or not, but all we know is that that's what we got and what we know so far. So yeah, as far as the other cards are concerned, there are a few that we saw in the article that aren't Daredevil specific. As we know, he's going to be coming in with a Justice deck, so I expect that these cards that I'm getting ready to show you are going to be in his hero deck, just so you're aware. And these all kind of play with him in a way, so I would be hard-pressed to believe that they weren't, especially this one right here. So let's see here. What do we got? We're going to start with this one right here. This is the Dance with the Devil. This is a team-up card between Daredevil and Elektra. It's an upgrade that you attach to an enemy, and you can discard this card, deal 3 damage to that attached enemy. That's pretty nice, I think. I still don't really know if I want to get Elektra out to play this card. It is another upgrade, I suppose, that would help you, get more of the, more damage off with Cross-Examination if you wanted to. But I don't know. This card is kind of weird. Also, you can't just leave this on an enemy, because it's also got an amplifier icon, which is kind of weird. I don't really understand why this has an amplifier icon. I don't really think it's that strong of a card to warrant it, but it does have it. So that's something to keep in mind. I wouldn't attach this and leave it on an enemy for way too long. But it is a free upgrade, so maybe you can justify it, maybe not. I don't know. I'm gonna build some sample Daredevil decks, just kind of with what we got here, just to kind of understand what he might want to do. But I don't really think this card's it for me. I honestly don't see myself going to be playing Elektra all that often, so I don't really see this card getting played that often. I could be wrong, but that's my personal opinion on it. And then we have Stealth Training here. This is a 2-cost upgrade. You can play it under any player's control, max one per player. After you thwart and exactly defeat a side scheme, exhaust Stealth Training, stun an enemy. This is pretty nice. I actually think this is going to pop off in like a Cable deck, honestly, because he's all about side schemes, and I feel like you can manipulate things to where you do exactly, the exact amount you want, so that you could proc this effect, because this is a pretty nice effect for a 2-cost upgrade. I think this is an awesome card. Definitely going to see some play here. Next we have Blind Spot. This is a new ally coming in with 4 resource cost, 3 health, 2 thwart, 2 attack. And after Blind Spot thwarts, confuse an enemy with an upgrade attached. This is a really nice card for Daredevil, and pretty much any hero that's going to be attaching upgrades to enemies, which Daredevil does. Cyclops does it. I think this is a really nice ally to have. Free confuses basically for some heroes practically nothing is fantastic. And it lets you go down to alter ego more, which I appreciate with this card. Super good. I think it'll definitely see some play. And then we have a Legal Trouble. It's a 1-cost upgrade, and I think we're getting some new types of cards here, because this card right here has a star effect on it as well that says if you're an attorney or police, you get a 1 discount on this card, and it becomes a 0-cost upgrade. You attach it to a minion, max 1 per minion, and then the attached minion gets -2 scheme. I don't know how good this card's actually going to be, but it's nice to see that we're getting cards with discounts for playing them with certain archetypes of characters. This next card is the exact same way. This is Know Your Enemy. This is also discounted for martial artists, and it's a thwart event. You can remove 1 threat from a scheme, then remove another threat from a scheme. Pretty basic. If you're playing this with Daredevil, it's probably going to be a pretty good card, just because it's a 0-cost card to just remove 2 threat from anywhere, essentially. So, I don't know. I can't think of any off the top of my head that'd be better than this. It's certainly not like amazing, but for zero cost, if you're playing a martial artist, this might be pretty good. We'll just have to see when we see everything else. And then finally, the last card that we saw in the pack was De-Escalation. This is a player side scheme with a victory tag on it. When it's defeated, remove an acceleration token from play. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know how valuable this card is really going to be. But it'll probably be useful in some other decks that play around side scheme. I'm really thinking of Cable here. Honestly, I'm really thinking of Cable, because this has the victory tag on it. But removing an acceleration token is not exactly the strongest thing ever. I mean, it's probably pretty good in stacked multiplayer games and games that are going to be going on for a long time, or against villains that mill out the deck or just play a bunch of cards from the encounter deck. I'm thinking like Mojo or Sandman's a good example. Magneto also does that too. There's a few that mill out a lot of cards from the encounter deck, but I don't know. I don't think this is really the best side scheme to be playing. For a lot of the early game, this is really just a dead card, really. Unless your hero is all about side schemes, I don't really think this is the best card ever. It is nice that it does come in with a solid, like just a static 4 thwart no matter the player count, so you could potentially get this done in 1 player round, and it's not gonna stack a whole bunch of threat on itself, and it's 0 cost to play it. But again, I don't particularly think it's that amazing of a card. But yeah, that's everything we know about Daredevil Matthew Murdock as far as the preview is concerned, and kind of some cards that will probably be coming in his hero pack. I'm super excited about Daredevil coming to the game. He's one of my favorite heroes of all time, and it's nice to see that I think he's going to be pretty good. Don't know how good he's going to be, but I like what I see so far. I think he'll definitely be an interesting hero to be added to the game. And honestly, so far, this expansion is looking absolutely phenomenal. So that's going to be it for me as far as the preview is concerned. If you want to go ahead and click off the video, that's fine. One final thing I want to take note of or kind of announce is, so I don't really post on this channel a whole lot. I'm thinking about changing that. If you've seen some of the content, if you're scrolling through some of my videos, I haven't done any Marvel Champions content ever. I've recently gamed as I'm getting pretty hyped for the release of this pack or this expansion, and I really wanted to make content for it, news, gameplays, all that sort of stuff. So I hope you all enjoy this kind of little breakdown video style. I hope to do more of these for you in the future, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll see where the road takes us. I really hope I can get some nice quality videos out, and hopefully these are good representations of things that are coming to the game. Anyways, I got a couple other videos coming out this week. I'm gonna have a gameplay video coming out soon that just kind of show you how I want to do gameplay vids for you. And then I'm also going to do a Echo breakdown. I'm kind of late on the party with Echo, but I don't think we're going to get any more news or updates on her, as most of her identity specific cards have been revealed. So we'll see if there's any updates. I might not post that video, but as far as that's concerned, the video is done. It will be going live this week. So that is all I wanted to talk about. Thanks you all for watching. If you like the video, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, share it with all your friends. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.